Hello everyone, this is David Jones, the CEO of Coldwell Banker Howard Perry in Walston. As we move into the summer and we start opening up businesses and activities after COVID-19, I just wanted to take a few moments to update you on the residential real estate business here in the Triangle and how the market looks today. In addition to school ending and vacations beginning and heat and humidity climbing, residential real estate usually meets its most demanding time of the year during the summer. And so how do things look after 2.5 months of COVID going into the summer? Well, I look at two factors generally. That's the number of homes being listed for sale and the number that are going under contract for sale to get a gauge on the market. So let's start by looking at homes going under contract for sale. Late April, we saw the market begin to recover to an extent after the initial pullback, if you will, from COVID-19. And while there was a recovery during the last few weeks of April, April as a whole still fell short of what expectations would have otherwise been, to the tune of about 800 homes, meaning that we had fewer sales than we would have otherwise expected by 800. And so what did things look like in May? Well, when we got to May, quite frankly, was an incredible month in terms of homes being sold. It was higher than the May of 2019 by 16%. 16% is a huge increase no matter when and where you're looking at the market and comparing periods of time. 16% increase, that was about 700 homes more than what we would have otherwise expected during the month of May. So that leads to the question of what would drive that type of demand, huge demand. Two or three things. The first, I would say, is that the market, before we got to stay-at-home orders, etc., was running about 5% ahead of where it was in 2019. So we have that as the first factor. Secondly, I gotta believe that there was some of the deferred sales from April that went into May. People were sort of sitting back to see what was going to happen and decided to move forward in the month of May. April was about 800 sales short, and May was about 700 more than expected. So I don't think that's completely coincidence. I will say, though, that typically when we have a slowdown in the market or a temporary slowdown, such as snow or hurricane, we don't see that type of push afterwards. So this would be a rare exception to what we typically see. The third factor, I would say, driving that type of 16% increase in May is low interest rates. Mortgage interest rates are historically low, around 3 to 3.25%. We don't see that very often at all. And they are honestly, in my 33 years of being involved with this business, making it one of the best times I can ever recall to buy a home. So now let's look at the other side of the market, and that's listings, homes being listed for sale. So for the month of April, a lot of people pulled back and just said we're going to wait and see. And April turned out to be about 1,400 homes fewer listed than we would have otherwise expected. But it's a very different picture than sales when we get to May, because May was pretty much like April. A lot of people still waiting to see what was going to happen, and May was about 1,300 homes short of expectation as well. All of which leads to the question of what does this mean for the month of June and going forward in the market? Well, I would say two or three things to you. That first of all, the combination of surging sales and diminished number of listings, a significantly reduced number of listings in the market, combined to make this one of the best times ever to list your home for sale if you are a current property owner. Can't imagine a better combination than those two. gives you the greatest opportunity to maximize the value of your current property. Secondly, we don't see anything indicating that interest rates are going to change much. So those low interest rates are going to continue to drive buyers into the market. And those rates give the buyer, if I were compared to a year ago, give the buyer about 10 to 15% more buying power than they would have had just a year ago. And the third thing I would say to you is if sellers don't list their homes in the month of June, it's going to put some stress on our market. That stress would typically be filled by home builders in new construction, which is already a significant part of our market. And the challenge there will be for builders to be able to keep up with the demand that will be coming their way. Otherwise, I would say that multiple offers will continue for nicely listed properties in good condition and priced appropriately. And they will probably become more competitive than they have already been. So needless to say, the dynamics of what's going on currently in residential real estate are going to make June and possibly into July a very interesting couple of months and a summer for us. If you are interested in buying a home or listing your current property, or just learning more about the market in which you live or are interested, please reach out to a Howard Perry & Walston Sales Associates. They'll be glad to spend the time with you and help you understand exactly what you need to know. And I would also say to you that given these historically low interest rates, if you're interested in a refi, reach out to one of the loan officers with Town Mortgage of the Carolinas. They'll be glad to help you, and you'll be glad they did. Until my next market update, I wish you the greatest success in all of your real estate endeavors. Thank you.